Nemisha here. Today we are talking about how to think differently, and it's from a place of knowing what you're thinking already and that it doesn't serve you, or it's not what you want to be thinking, and it's kind of asking yourself from a place of curiosity of how do I get to a different thinking pattern and a different place and a different energy to fuel your actions, right? So if you know you're in an unhelpful place, and the way you'll know is because you feel it, right? You will know if you've got some unhelpful thinking going on about a particular situation or a scenario that you're experiencing by the way it makes you feel, right? So you're having some thoughts in your brain and it is creating some feelings and some sensations in your body. And so you will know it's unhelpful because you'll have unwanted feelings, right? You will either have disappointment, frustration, overwhelm, sadness, fear, whatever it might be, all right? So today's class will help you go from where you are now to where you want to be and who you want to be, and actually how you can change your thinking to get you to where you want to be, and the thoughts that actually serve you and fuel you to take action and do your beautiful work. So if you've not done it already, I highly recommend you watch the previous video, which was how to intentionally notice your thoughts with compassion. And you go through that class first because I share a really super simple tool to capture your thinking and really notice what's going on in your head. And then you do an exercise to unpack where you are, what's helpful, what's not, and what's unhelpful, and then you get to apply this work. All right, so go watch that video if you haven't done already, because that will give you the foundation of then taking your brain to think differently to where you want to be and who you want to be. Okay, so on the basis that you know what you're thinking about a specific situation, whether that's a personal thing that's going on right now or something professionally in your work, whatever it is that you're experiencing, and you know, as I say, if it's helpful or unhelpful, but what do you do next? What do you do with that? So you know you're in an unhelpful kind of thinking pattern, and maybe even a bit of a spiral, and you're, you know, that kind of level of thinking is just there, and it's almost like I describe it as brain fog. You know, you're immersed in it and you can't see through it, right? It's kind of almost consuming you. How do you actually think differently to move forward and to move out of that kind of unhelpful place and you know, kind of reconnect and be the person that you truly are? Because that's who you want to be, and that's the version of you want to take action from. That's the version of you want to show up as. So how do you think differently, right? The first thing is really, really simple, and it's decide you actually want to change your thinking pattern, right? And I know that sounds like super obvious, but trust me, it is such an important step to fueling your energy to do this work from a place of you know, deciding that you want to and having that real sort of intention behind it. But you're here because, you know, I know you want to change your thinking, right? But let me invite you to be intentional and actually, you know, kind of say it to yourself now, out loud if you have to, right? Whilst you're listening to this, just say it out loud. Like, I want to change my thinking. I want to get myself out of this unhelpful place. I want to feel better, and I know I can. right? That alone, right? 10 seconds of a couple of statements is you deciding, right? It's you deciding. And when you set an intention like this to do something, you're telling your brain that something's coming, right? That something's on its way. And it's like a signal that something's about to change. And like, kind of brain, get ready. It's like a signal to your brain when you set some intention. That's the way I like to think about it anyway. So first of all, you've got to decide, right? And hopefully you've done that already. So what do you do next, right? What do you want to think is your next step, right? So you've got to ask yourself, what do I want to think? What do I want to believe? Who do I want to be? Right? And those are simple questions, but there is so much gold in really sitting with your brain and asking yourselves those questions and coming up with the answers to that, right? And this is what I would invite you to do, is to spend some time thinking about that. You know where you are, and you've got to determine and identify where you want to be and who you want to be in your thinking, right? And you've got to come up with that. That is for you to create. And it is linked to who you want to be, all right? So what do you want to think? What do you want to believe? And who do you want to be? Right? So my question or my invitation to you is to pause the video for a few minutes and capture your thoughts and the things you want to believe that makes you feel more like you, makes you feel more expansive, to take the bold actions, to step outside of your comfort zone, to do the things more efficiently, more in your energy. Who is that version of you? And really write down and come up with what that looks like for you. So pause the video and go ahead and do that, right? Give yourself at least 5 minutes. And I'm right here. You get to come back. Okay, so once you have done that, you have got something to work towards and redirect your brain towards in terms of what you want to think, what you want to believe, and who you want to be, right? So you know where you are and you know where you want to be and what you want to think. And so now, how do you get to where you want to be? All right, but let me share an example with you first of all. So let's just say you have a revenue target to meet this month, right? And perhaps you're currently thinking, there's no way I'm going to meet this target this month, right? This is just what you're thinking, and it's just in your brain, right? What you'd do first of all is that you would notice that that's what's going on in your head, right? I'm not going to be able to achieve this revenue target is just a sentence in your brain that is for you to notice, all right? And it's just there and it's playing over and over and over. So what you do is you notice it and you catch it, right? And you know it's unhelpful by the way it makes you feel, right? So when this sentence, I'm not going to be able to hit my revenue target, is going on in your head, like I've had that thought, right? It doesn't make me feel good, right? It makes me feel pressure. It makes me feel a bit nervous. It almost makes me feel a bit deflated before I've even tried, right? Or, just from that thinking, it makes me feel these emotions, unhelpful emotions in my body. So just notice how it makes you feel. And if it's unhelpful, right? If it's an undesired emotion, you know it's coming from a place of unhelpful thinking, all right? So once you know that and you catch it, then you nurture it. You actually comfort the thought, right? And by noticing it, you're giving it attention and you're giving it awareness, which is what it wants. It's like going on in your head, like, hear me, hear me, hear me. And you're like, okay, I hear you. And then you comfort it by actually talking to it, right? Talking to your brain, talking to that sentence. Because when you do this, you're actually lessening the power of it. It's like you're controlling that thought versus the thought controlling you, right? And you might say something like, so again, for that example, right? I'm not going to hit my revenue target. You would literally talk to it by saying, I understand you're having that thought. I know it's a big target. I know we've only got 2 weeks left, or whatever the duration is, right? Acknowledge, why that thought might be coming up with compassion, but then just offer and say, yeah, but actually we have still got 2 weeks to go, right? It might be possible, and we might not be able to hit the full target, but we can certainly try to see what we could do. And there is some possibility. So it's okay to think that, but actually I'm going to choose to think that it's possible, because that is more of a helpful place. And that's where I know something might happen that's unexpected, out of the blue, unplanned, but is totally possible. So can you see, you would nurture it, just like you would a child, right, who's having a bit of a meltdown. You would just nurture it and comfort it in your way, in whatever way works for you. But it's just a small conversation. It's a short conversation, a couple of sentences. You're just offering with compassion, with love, to acknowledge that thought, okay? And then once you've done that, so you've done the nurturing, then you would navigate your brain to the new thought, right? The one that you establish is in terms of what you want to be thinking. And for the same example, the new thought that you want to be thinking might be something as simple as, it's possible I could hit the revenue target this month. I don't know how yet, but it's possible. Right? So that's your new thought. That's what you want to think. So you're going from a place of, it's not possible I'm going to hit my revenue target this month, to the new thought, an alternative thought, which is, it's possible that I could hit the revenue target. I don't know how, but it's possible. And then from this energy, you can actively look for evidence to support that helpful thought, right? That new thought of, how is it possible? How could it be possible to hit the revenue target? And you problem solve from that thinking of possibility. And it might be that, you get yourself to a place of what's possible, right? It might be some of it might be half of it might be 3/4 of it. What could you do, right? What actions and what steps could you take to make that happen and make that possible? So it's a completely different energy that you then problem solve the particular scenario that you're in, whatever it is, right? Whatever that unhelpful thinking is in relation to, you get to then problem solve that from a place of it being possible, or it being more doable for you, or something that you're willing to take on if it's a challenge. So you then navigate your brain to that place. You're looking for evidence to support that, and you're actively noticing that evidence, right? It's like you bank it and you're like, oh right, here's another reason why it's possible, and here's another reason why it could be possible, right? And you just keep noticing that, taking your brain there. So in summary, the process to think differently, to take your brain from a place of unhelpful thinking to a place of helpful thinking, you're doing a few things. You're noticing, right? It's a few N's. You're noticing where your brain's at. You're nurturing that thought or that pattern of thinking, right? With love and compassion. You're then navigating your brain to your new thinking, who you want to be, right? It's the alternative place. And you're taking your brain there and you're looking for evidence to support that thought, right? The more helpful and empowering thinking, versus looking for evidence to support the unhelpful thinking, which is where our brain just naturally defaults to, because it wants to keep you safe. It wants to keep you protected from judgment, from failure, from criticism, from all the things that could be harmful to you, right? So it wants to take you there, but you're taking it to a place of helpful thinking and looking for evidence for that. So this is what I call daily belief work, right? And it's something I practice every day on any specific scenario or thinking that I have, and it's something I use with my clients all the time. But it is something that I would invite you to practice over and over to really rewire your default thinking to a more helpful place about business, about relationships, about your clients' results, about marketing, about a presentation you've got to lead, about a job interview, whatever it might be. You get to take yourself to a place of helpful thinking, because you get to decide what you think, what you feel, what you do. Okay? And a final thought that I just wanted to say is that just because, you're having negative thinking and having negative thoughts, nothing's gone wrong. Like I said, right? Your brain is just keeping you safe, and you're just being human. This is what we do, right? This is the way our brain is trained, and you're doing your best, right? So if you're having unhelpful thoughts, nothing has gone wrong, right? It doesn't mean anything bad about you and who you are, or anything like that. And whether you, in the example that we talked about, whether you hit your targets or you don't, it doesn't mean anything about you, right? Good or bad. It doesn't mean anything about you unless you choose to make it mean something about you, right? That's on you, right? So whatever you create, whatever results you have, doesn't mean anything bad about you, right? Unless you choose to make it. So I really hope that served you. That was quite a kind of detailed process that is actually quite simple, but you really have to sit down and do this work, and it can be a bit tedious, right? But I would really invite yourself to do this work and watch this over again to really pick up the process that you're going through, right? You're noticing, you're nurturing, you're navigating your brain to the new thinking, and then you're looking for evidence for it. Okay? Let me know how you get on. But I hope that served you today. If any of that resonates with you, be sure to comment below and subscribe to this channel. Just click the subscribe button below this video, and I would really invite you to share this practice with any of your friends or any of your colleagues to help them with their thinking. And of course, if you'd like to go deeper to manage your mind and your thinking, I am here for you. Just reach out. You can book a call with me. The link's in the description, or you can visit www.nemishapatelowen.com. I really look forward to hearing how you get on. Until the next time, remember that you get to decide what you think, what you feel, and what you do. So make it serve you. Take care. Bye for now.